Good morning, everyone. We are going live. We give about 15, 20, 30 minutes of live footage for anybody on Facebook that wants to see our classes and take part in it, giving you guys some value. Hope everyone's had a wonderful week. Wins for the week, anybody want to share? Wins for anyone?
I have a win. I would like to share was about the mindset. I kind of had a situation at work, and my old me used to react different for the situations like that, and I take control of myself, and I imagine my master. I imagine you, Abraham, in that situation. If it was you, how you would handle it. So I keep calm, and I see that just with awareness that the other person is not having the same information to work with, and the limitation that we had, and the programming that we had in the our society, that we are in constantly competition with each other, so that make that the person acted the way that he acted with me. So I take control, and even other partners was really mad of him. So I told him, no, it's nothing, let it go, let pass. And I learned a lot of the situation, and like show me that I am changed. I'm becoming another person. So for me, this is a big win, because when you change, your results changing too. Thank you.
Wonderful. It really is a big deal when you notice that the changes that are coming, and how you are becoming more aware of yourself, and you're becoming more aware that you're no longer the same person anymore. That's huge. Great win. By controlling the situation and thinking differently, you had a different outcome, didn't you?
Yes, and the universe bring proof about it constantly to show me, yes, the way you act the best way.
Very good. Anyone else? I have a win. Is somebody fixing to go?
No, go ahead. I'll go after.
My win is, given this program, something we've been working on for a while, and being able to put it together and execute it and give it out to the world. It's a big deal. And the growth that we will experience with this program, and the amount of people, the millions of people that I see that we're going to touch, that's a win for me, because I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing the people, the lives that we will help, the experiences that people will have from it, the consultants that will eventually take through this program that will be helping other people. It's huge. This is a great work and something that I'm willing to give my life for. That's wonderful.
And thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for willing to do the work, because you're affecting other people as well. Angel?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you as well, because I've also been able to give my body a command and follow through with it. By learning our mind through these classes gives us the opportunity that we're meant for so much more.
And so
And
much
we have
more really
the
has
ability to.
So much more means whatever we want. Angel, I'd like to start this off. We've been, the last couple of weeks, we've been going over the brain and the mind and how it works. And I would like to kick this off with giving the description of the mind. We looked this up. If you could give us a definition of the mind.
Okay. The mind is a set of faculties responsible for all mental phenomena. Often the term is also identified with phenomena themselves. These faculties include thought, imagination, memory, will, and sensation.
When we start to really understand the mind and how it works, we're understanding ourselves, really. And if we don't understand ourselves, we don't understand the phenomenon. The phenomenon is what you would call circumstances. The phenomenon is the unseen. We don't see the mind. We don't see the way the mind thinks and how it's moving. But what do we experience?
What we know, what we think we know.
The experiences that we're experiencing is a result of the way the mind is moving. When I go back to the phenomena, and we can give different stories of the phenomenon. For 1,825 days, I went and I traded my time by the hour for a small amount of money. So for 1,825 days, I experienced the company that I went to work for, the duties I had to do, the responsibilities I had for that position. I experienced them for 1,800 days. What did I learn?
Everything it took to get there.
And there was a place, so that means I was experiencing the actions I had to take, and I had to master them for that position, for that organization, for that company. And I got into the spirit of, it was a tireman at that time, tireman. And what led me to trade my time for that amount of money? That's the phenomena. That's the thing that's unseen. What caused me to go take on that position? What do y'all think? Zach perched in my ear there. He said the self-image. I remember I was trading my time for peanuts. And I had the same amount of time as anyone else. But I was earning the amount of money I was earning because I'm not aware that I was working with my beliefs. Because we're not aware of we're working with an unseen force. And we're traveling through time and experiences, but the time and the experiences are coming from what? What's it coming from, Autumn?
Our past, what we're programmed to.
Our belief systems. So when we look at time and space, we look at time and space. We look at time and form. We look at time and experiences. But in between the time and space, in between the time and your result, in between the time and next week, next month, next year, there's something that's unseen that's moving it all into time, into space, and into form. And let's get that definition again, one more time. Angel, can you help us out there?
Yes. The mind is a set of faculties responsible for all mental phenomena. Often the term is also identified with the phenomena themselves. These faculties include thought, imagination, memory, will, and sensation.
The phenomena itself. So when we try to put our finger down on what caused me to do that for 1,800 days, the only thing that we could ever go back to is what was going on in whose mind?
Yours.
Yeah. The results that we're getting are from the phenomena. What is a phenomena? Belief systems. What could they look like?
Defining it or giving examples.
Illustrations, examples of.
For instance, I said it, I believe last weekend, maybe it's the way you park your car, right? Some people may pull in when some others may back in, right? I was taught to back my vehicle back, you know what I mean? Versus a lot of people, they tend to pull in. But that's just by what you were taught, you will go and act out later on.
Who taught you to back in?
You.
So I took on a habit of behavior of backing the vehicle in everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, I back in. So that my first move is forward. So that whenever I'm walking to my vehicle, I observe everything in front of it. And as I get into my vehicle, I have already taken a mental image and picture of everything in front of it before I move. So as I walk towards my vehicle, I'm observing everything in front of it. As I get into the vehicle, I already have mental images of what I may need to cross, adjust, or move, or where I'm moving to. My first move was always forward. As I backed up, before I went into the station, my area, guess what I had to do? As you're pulling forward and to back up, I view everything in front of me before I reverse. So by reviewing everything in front of me before I reverse, I am analyzing the image-making process before I do my move first. So this is also causing my mind to always do what? Look at the circumstances, look at the area, surveillance the area, and always working with images from the future. So as before, a lot of people don't understand what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is I'm causing your mind to think of advanced decision-making, what's happening before you act the second move. So by taking the habit, she didn't know yet, and now I'm explaining it, by causing her mind to advance decision make and see in images what she's going to go into before she takes the next demonstration, she already knows what's coming. She already knows what's coming. And if she can take that illustration and keep doing that back and forth, it's going to change the way she thinks and operates. Little by little, if she keeps in this process, she's always going to take on the very first step, which a lot of people never really review. The images I use, I walk into. The images that I work from, I adapt to. If my first move forward is always seen, I already know what I will interface. Now, then I would take them to go sit down and eat. And as we would sit down and eat, they would give us menus. And I would say, you do not have to pick from the menu. We never eat from the menu. You can observe to understand what they offer in the restaurant, but I want you to organize your own meal. Wouldn't it be nice for you to mix and match whatever you desire to your own liking? Wouldn't it be nice if you never ordered from the meal? So I would look, observe, and then I'd sit down and I would order my desire, what I wanted, and I would fix my plate. And by taking this habit and behavior and them watching me do it, what are they learning? What did you learn, Autumn?
How to create what I want.
By design. So that means it forces you to use your mind beyond what they gave you, beyond the instructions that they gave you, to originate your own thought, your own desire. And by doing that, your advanced decision making, what you're going to experience again. So what I'm getting at is life is like a platter. But if you don't advance decision make what you're going to eat, you just keep eating the same things. A lot of times we're eating things from what? Habits and behaviors of beliefs that are already in us. Our job was to originate. And if we don't originate, if we don't stop our thought, and we don't check our thoughts, a lot of times we're ordering before we even ordered.
Yeah.
That means the order is already coming before you ordered. 1,820 days because I wasn't checking my beliefs and because I didn't decide how much money I would earn. I went and found the job and I earned the amount of money that I was earning because that's all I thought I could do. But little if I would have known at that time, and if I would have said, I want to earn $1 million a year, that life would have operated in the same manner for me. If I would have decided I want to earn $1 million a year, then by thinking I want to earn $1 million a year, I would start to think of the what?
The how.
The how. So what's the difference in me today to the me at 18, 19? The difference is in what?
Awareness.
There you go. Aware that it was even possible. Aware that I would even strategize to going there. Did anybody stop me from strategizing to think of how to earn $1 million at 18? Not physically, but mentally, yes. This is why all this study is so important, because a lot of people are going through life, their whole life. Let's look at the man, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Let's look at the individual that's bagging groceries and the young man that goes to bag groceries. Normally doesn't happen. That the man holds the same image his whole life, but it does happen. The man that went to go, or the woman that went to go bag groceries, if they never changed their desire, if they never thought anything more was possible, there was something that caused him to go bag groceries to begin with. He had to have been looking at images and illustrations of consciousness. And then he or she had to have decided, I want to do that. Or I'm going to do that because I think I can. And then they had to walk from wherever they were to go apply, to take on the job, and then to learn that position. And guess what? If they were not able to performers, we're performers, they were going to have to perform their intellect and their hands moving to an outcome. If they weren't able to perform, they would be fired. But if they were able to perform those actions, they have a what? Job. Now, guess what? If they never change the images in themselves, and they never think anything else is possible, where would they be at in 40 years from now? 50 years from now? What would they have experienced in between that time, which is that memory and those ideas, and space? What would they experience every year? Relative to who and what? What are they experiencing?
Their same day, their same year.
Their same day, how many times?
A lot.
We never really contemplate time and space. But we never really contemplate time and space because we're not aware to check the mind that moved you into time and space to create what? Memories. So then you get the same what?
Results.
Over and over again until you awaken or you stay what? Subject to what? We think time and space, conditions. We think that we're stuck to conditions. But what is really stuck to conditions? Let's go to that word again, Angel. What do we become subject to?
The mind is a set of faculties responsible for all mental phenomena. Often the
There you
term
go.
is also identified with phenomena themselves.
There you go, right there.
These faculties, they identify with themselves.
That's what we miss. People, not just me, all around the world, people all around the world don't know what's moving them into action. They don't know what caused them to do what they do.
Tiptoeing to death, I like to say.
Yeah. Do you know how many people play it safe their whole life just to tiptoe to death, just to get there? They're going to go. We never stay here forever. The problem is people think they're going to live forever. Otherwise, they wouldn't waste their time doing things that they do. Your problem is you think you're going to live forever. And guess what? 20, 30, 40 years later, you didn't live forever. Your program lived. Your beliefs live through your actions. And if your beliefs continue to live through your actions, to live through your body, and your beliefs keep telling you to do what to do, that personality will keep rewriting its personal reality, not just for a year. It was 365 days.
Are you living or existing?
This is why this is so important. You don't have a choice. Nobody has a choice in the affair when it comes to the mind. You either understand it or you just live through it. What does understanding mean? You either understand the mind or you live through it. You will view the world and you will create memories day after day and become subject to time because you are never creative to the subject. That was good. You'll be subject to time because you are never creative to the subject, which is who?
You.
It's all about awareness. I was not thinking about earning $1 million. Why?
You weren't programmed to.
There was no hard drive there for that. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do?
Start thinking of new ideas and taking yourself out of what you know today, because that's taken you so far.
What you know today can only take you where?
To where you've been.
Who wants to keep living the same day over and over again? A lot of you may say, I don't want to do that, but yet you keep doing it. And yet you don't question why you keep doing it. So how do we change it?
That hand picture. I
Changing
don't
the
know. Are they able to see
beliefs,
that?
There you go.
changing the habits.
Are you guys able to see this image?
Yes.
What you see is it looks like a simple illustration, but these a lot of times are blocks or they put dominoes up, and once you hit it, it already has a pattern.
Ripple effect.
But what you don't look is the inertia and the energy behind the pattern that it's taking, and those blocks are unfolding. They're unfolding because it was meant to unfold in that pattern because somebody already created the pattern before it was there. And if you don't interrupt the pattern, that's what's coming. And it's the thought precedes a thought, that 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 precedes a thought. Before you know it, you're right on plan with who you were supposed to be because you keep thinking from the same what? Mindset.
Yeah.
Mindset is everything. I'm telling you, mindset is everything because you can never get away from your own mind.
Mind. Yeah.
You think you're going to go somewhere different, but you're going to get back to who? To yourself. People, I see this all the time. They think they're going to earn more money. But you're going to go and do what?
Change jobs and find the exact same amount.
Over and over. I see this all the time. Because if you're not working on the thing that determines the result, you'll never change the result. If you don't work on the thing that determines the result, you're never going to change the result. You'll find the results in different what? Expressions. You can change job I don't know how many times. It doesn't matter. What you're going to find is you're going to define your what? The way you think. Unless you're willing to change the what? Yourself. You've got to change the way you think. You've got to step in and change who you are. Now, this interruption, we call this intervention. We call this this word, we call this intervention of a higher order. That means you're going to step into your own thought. You're going to step into the way you think. And in order to do that, you've got to be brave. You've got to be courageous. You've got to be able to have the courage to step in and say, we will no longer think in this manner anymore. It takes courage to step into your own self and to give yourself a new command. It takes courage to think differently. We're going to read a little bit of this, and then we'll go into some more illustrations. So, Adam, would you like to?
Yes. Let's start by understanding what the mind is. The brain transfers and receives information, and the mind is what creates and moves things into form. The mind is where thoughts are created and where the imagination is put into formation. The brain is what sends neurotransmitters throughout the body, and the body moves into action according to the information going into and used by the mind. The information that comes into the mind comes from either the outside world or from frequencies that you can tap into.
Now, we're going to go to an old book here, and we're going to discuss just a little bit of what Dr. Alexander Graham Bell and Elmer Gates had discovered. They had observed that every human brain is both a broadcasting and a receiving station for the vibration of thought. Interesting. Now, a lot of you really may have not have studied this before. And we're talking about well-renowned men of their time that experienced great lives, that experienced different things. What were they thinking about that they were able to understand this? And what did Alexander Graham Bell bring to the world? You see, we really don't research and we don't study, but if we don't do that, we'll never understand what we're capable of. They understood that the brain was both a broadcasting and receiving station for for the vibration of thought. And here, illustrated earlier, we took a definition out of the dictionary for you, just to give you an illustration that your mind is what's creating reality. And this is not just foreign material. It's in the books. It's around the world right now, but you don't want to look at it. But if you don't want to look for what's creating your reality, you'll never understand why you keep getting the results that you're getting. It says here, through the medium of the ether in a fashion similar to that employed by the radio broadcasting principle, every human brain is capable of picking up vibrations of thought. We release vibrations of thought as you think. Now think about this. I said, I need a job. I need money. And here this young man could have gone and thought of an idea to earn more money, but he went to go earn $4.75 an hour to work hard labor, and he did that for 1,800 days. Now, what the hell was he thinking about? What caused that behavior? And the only thing that he could do was experience those thoughts. You see, we behave, we act as we feel. And what you feel and what we feel is what we are. My self-image took me to experience the way I would act, the way I would behave, according to how I was feeling. And according to how I was feeling is telling me who I was. Now, I didn't understand this completely at this time, but as I started to change the image-making process and I started to decide, I want to go there, there's a place and I'm worthy. I started to go act again. I was acting differently because I was feeling differently. I started to behave differently because I was feeling differently. I started to do things that were not normal, that were not common, because I didn't feel common anymore. Why was I feeling differently? I started to develop my self-image. We act, we behave as we feel because of what we are. And as I started to change what I was by changing how I thought about myself and what I was worthy of, you need to get up today and you need to ask yourself, what am I worthy of? That's the key to success. Decide right now what you are worthy of.
And stop accepting the bare minimum.
Yeah. When you start to decide, I am worthy of the good that I desire, what is that image? I am worthy, and I am so much more. And when you can decide what you're worthy of and who you're going to become, is when you start to take responsibility for what? The thing that fires and wires together. Neural pathways in your what? In the brain, because of the ideas in the mind. The brain is an electronic switching station, but the brain can only electronically, neural pathway travels through another neural pathway, and it can, whatever fires together, wires together. If you don't believe that you can do it, you don't do it. So when you start to fire and wire new neural pathways by the operation of thought in the brain, you're connecting yourself to another world. I'll give you guys another illustration. I had the image that we would have multiple companies. And I had the image that I built that I would work with other men and I would help other men acquire their own businesses and build their own companies. Is it an accident that we're doing this today? It started off with an image, and I had an idea that we're going to help men all around the world, and we would have men that we would be working with companies, and we would be working together to build companies. Is it an accident that today, 12 years later, we're doing exactly that? And some of them have worked, and some of them have not. The ones that have not worked is because we had to understand. And the people that I'm working with, I'm not working with my consciousness, I'm working with their consciousness. And if they don't think it's possible, they won't do it. And if the fear, doubt, and worries come in, they're going to set up a chain of events. My job is to get them a better understanding of the way they think, they create. You guys are on this call. Some people are on this call. Some people are looking at it on Facebook. I can't change you, but I can show you. Ultimately, you have to determine how you're going to use your mind and how you will create your reality.